The explosion ripped through the night like a vengeful god's fist, hurling dirt and shrapnel into the air over the Afghan outpost. Sergeant Riley Kane clutched his bleeding side, the world tilting in a haze of smoke and screams. His last coherent thought a desperate prayer for the medic he'd just shoved away hours earlier. As the dust settled, Private Alex Rivera crawled from the rubble, his hands already glowing with the forbidden knowledge that could either heal his unit or shatter it forever. Alex's uniform was caked in the fine red dust of the Hindu Kush, the same grit that had wormed its way into every crease of his life since he'd enlisted 3 years ago. At 28, he was the youngest combat medic in Bravo Company, a wiry kid from the sun-baked streets of East Los Angeles who'd traded gang tags for dog tags, hoping the Army would scrub away the stains of his past. But the Army, like any family, had its own scars, deep, unspoken ones that festered under the weight of tradition and fear. Captain Harlan Graves stood in the dim glow of the command tent, his broad shoulders squared like a wall against the flickering lantern light. The man was a relic, forged in the fires of Desert Storm, with a jaw like chiseled granite and eyes that had seen too many good men turn to ghosts. He'd pulled Alex aside after the evening briefing, the air thick with the scent of stale coffee and unspoken accusations. "You're not fit for duty, Rivera," Graves had said, his voice low and final, like a judge's gavel in an empty courtroom. The words hung there, heavier than the Kevlar vest Alex still wore from patrol. No explanation, no appeal, just the cold certainty of a man who'd overheard whispers in the chow line, pieced together sidelong glances and late-night calls home that didn't sound right for a straight-laced soldier. Alex had frozen, his pulse hammering in his ears louder than the distant rumble of artillery. He'd known this day might come, ever since Don't Ask, Don't Tell had crumbled under its own hypocrisy 6 years back. But knowing and facing it were worlds apart. "Sir," he'd started, voice steady despite the knot in his gut. "With respect, I've pulled my weight. Saved 3 lives last month alone." Graves leaned in, his breath sour with chew. "It's not about your skills, son. It's about trust. The unit's a machine, gears have to mesh clean. Rumors say you don't fit. And in my company, rumors are bullets waiting to fire." He'd clapped Alex on the shoulder, a gesture that felt more like a shove toward the exit. "Report to Psych Eval in the morning. Stateside reassignment, if it clears." That was before the blast, before the world cracked open and swallowed half the perimeter guard. Now, as Alex staggered to his feet amid the chaos, the captain's words echoed like a bad joke. The outpost's wire perimeter was a mangled skeleton, twisted metal groaning under the weight of fallen sandbags. Shouts pierced the night. Medics needed, now, and Alex ran toward them, his med kit banging against his thigh. Riley Kane was slumped against a half-collapsed Tesco barrier, his dark hair matted with blood, one hand pressed to a gash across his ribs that wept crimson onto the parched earth. At 32, Riley was the unit's rock, a staff sergeant from rural Ohio with a farmer's build and a laugh that could cut through briefing room tension like a hot knife. They'd been friends since basic. Riley the straight arrow mentor, Alex the quick study protege, bonded over late-night poker games and shared gripes about the brass. But lately, something had shifted, a current under the surface Alex couldn't name, electric and dangerous. "Rivera?" Riley's voice was a rasp, his hazel eyes focusing through the pain. "Thought you were off the line." "Captain's got jokes," Alex muttered, dropping to his knees and ripping open Riley's shirt to expose the wound. It was bad, jagged, deep, nicking something vital if the gurgle in Riley's breath was any sign. Alex's hands moved on autopilot, packing gauze, taping pressure, his mind a whirlwind of triage and the bitter aftertaste of rejection. Why now? Why, when the unit needed him most? Gunfire cracked in the distance, Taliban probing the breach, shadows slinking through the moonless dark. Alex hauled Riley up, slinging the sergeant's arm over his shoulder, their boots kicking up dust as they stumbled toward the aid station. Every step jarred the wound, drawing a hiss from Riley, but the man clamped his jaw and pushed on, his free hand clutching Alex's collar like a lifeline. Inside the tent, fluorescent bulbs buzzed like angry hornets, casting harsh shadows over the cots crammed with the wounded. Doc Harlan, Irony of ironies, the captain's own medic alias was already elbow-deep in sutures, barking orders at the PAs. Alex dumped Riley onto a stretcher, grabbing saline and morphine from the crash cart. "Get him stable," Doc Harlan snapped, not looking up from his patient. "Then you're out. Captain's orders stand." The words landed like shrapnel in Alex's chest. Out. With bodies piling up, the unit fracturing under fire? He jabbed the four-needle into Riley's vein, his vision blurring for a split second, not from tears, but from the rage boiling up, hot and unbidden. He'd hidden who he was for years, buried the ache of loving in silence, all to serve. And now this. Riley's hand caught his wrist, weak but insistent. "Hey, whatever Graves said, ignore it. We need you." His eyes, fever-bright, held Alex's a beat too long, something unspoken flickering there, gratitude, or maybe more. Alex pulled away, focusing on the monitor's beeping a frantic rhythm. By dawn, the outpost had clawed back control, F-16s screaming overhead to scatter the insurgents. But the cost was tallied in blood. For dead, a dozen critical. Alex worked through the blur of hours, stitching wounds and doping pain, his own exhaustion a dull roar in his ears. When the psych eval chopper touched down at noon, rotors whipping sand into a frenzy, he was waiting, kit packed, heart a lead weight. Captain Graves met him at the pad, clipboard in hand. "Eval's routine. Fly to Bagram, then home. Unit'll manage." Alex's laugh was bitter, scraped raw. "Manage? Sir, we're down 2 medics already. Riley's hanging by a thread. Riley'll pull through." Like always, Graves' gaze slid away, toward the horizon where smoke still curled from the blast site. "This isn't personal, Rivera. It's protocol." But it was personal. Deeply, gut-wrenchingly so. Alex boarded the Black Hawk without another word, the thump of blades drowning his thoughts as they lifted off. Below, the outpost shrank to a cluster of tan boxes in a sea of brown, Bravo Company a fragile speck against the vast, indifferent mountains. Bagram Airfield was a hive of controlled chaos, cargo planes rumbling on tarmac, soldiers milling like ants under the relentless sun. Alex reported to the psych hut, a prefab trailer baking in the heat, where Dr. Elena Vasquez waited with her notepad and practiced empathy. She was mid-40s, sharp-eyed, with a no-nonsense bob that screamed, "I've seen it all." "Sit, private. Coffee." Her voice was warm, but her eyes scanned him like a threat assessment. He shook his head, dropping into the chair. The room smelled of air freshener and old secrets. "Captain says I'm unfit." "Rumors." Vasquez nodded, jotting something. "Don't ask, don't tell is dead, but prejudices? Those linger like bad cologne. Tell me about it, from your side." Alex hesitated, the words sticking like sand in his throat. He'd rehearsed this in his head 1,000 times, the coming-out speech polished to a sheen. But here, under her steady gaze, it cracked open raw. "I'm gay, document. Have been since I knew what that meant. Enlisted to escape the noise back home. Family that didn't get it. Streets that chewed up kids like me. Army was supposed to be clean. Merit over everything." She leaned back, pen tapping. "And now it's the same bullshit. Whispers in the barracks. Guys crossing the room when I walk in. Riley, Sergeant Kane, he's the only one who never treated me different. Pulled me out of a scrape in Kandahar last year. Said I reminded him of his brother." Alex's voice caught, the memory sharp. Riley's arm around his waist in the aftermath, steadying him, their breaths sinking in the adrenaline crash. "But even he's got his walls." Vasquez's expression softened. "Sounds like more than friendship there. Unresolved feelings can amp the stress." Alex flushed, heat crawling up his neck. "It's not. I mean, he's straight. Married. Even, back in Ohio. Kid on the way." The lie tasted like ash. Riley's ring finger had been bare for months. The divorce papers a ghost story he shared over whiskey one night. But admitting the hope, the quiet what-if that kept Alex up at night, that was a bridge too far. They talked for hours, Vasquez peeling back layers with surgical precision. His childhood in L.A., the first boy he'd kissed under a freeway overpass, the terror of deployment masking deeper fears. By session's end, she cleared him for duty, but with a caveat: talk to Graves. Confront it head-on. Secrets fester. Alex nodded, but as he stepped into the Afghan dusk, the airfield's floodlights casting long shadows. Doubt gnawed at him. Confront? The man held his career in iron fists. And Riley, God, Riley, was back at the outpost, fighting for breath while Alex played pen pal with shrinks. That night, in a borrowed bunk, Alex's phone buzzed with a SATCOM text from Riley, pulled through. "Oh, you." Graves asking questions. "Stay safe." Simple words, but they hit like morphine, easing the ache just enough to sleep. 2 days later, he was wheels up back to the front, the chopper slicing through clouds that hung like veils over hidden valleys. The unit greeted him with wary nods. No fanfare, just the grind resuming. Riley was up, propped on a cot within 4 drip, his color returning like dawn over the ridges. "Doc said you cleared," Riley grunted as Alex checked his dressings. "Knew you would." Alex forced a grin, peeling back the tape. "Vasquez is a bulldog. But Graves." Riley's hand brushed his, accidental or not, lingering a fraction too long. "Captain's old school. Lost his partner in 91. Didn't know till I overheard. Makes him jump at shadows." His voice dropped, eyes searching Alex's face. "Heard the rumors. About you." The air thickened, charged like the moment before a storm. Alex's heart stuttered. "Yeah, me." Riley nodded slow, no judgment in his gaze, just a quiet weight. "Figured. Doesn't change shit. Your family." The word hung there, simple and profound, cracking something open in Alex's chest. Family. Not brother, not buddy. Family, the kind that chose you. But the moment shattered with the crackle of the radio. Incoming. Mortar fire, grid 47 north. Alarms wailed, and the tent emptied in a rush of boots and curses. Alex grabbed his kit, Riley swinging his legs off the cot despite protests. "Stay put," Alex barked, but Riley was already lacing boots, stubborn as the hills. "Together," he said, and there was no arguing that. The barrage hit like thunder, shells walking the wire in fiery steps. Alex and Riley dove into the fray, dragging a PFC from a crater, his leg a ruined stump. Adrenaline surged, sharpening everything. The copper tang of blood, the acrid bite of cordite, Riley's shoulder bumping his in the press. Then, in the lull between blasts, Alex saw it. A glint in the dust, half buried under a toppled generator. He froze, the world narrowing to that spot. A detonator cap, fresh, Taliban signature. But not just any, modified, laced with something experimental, whispers of a new chem agent the intel briefs had dismissed as rumor. "Riley, look." He pointed, voice urgent. The sergeant squinted, then paled. "Shit, that's VX precursor. If it arms, the unit would be ghosts by morning, vaporized in their sleep." Alex's mind raced, fragments of classified training slotting into place. Back in medic school, he'd moonlighted at a VA lab in San Diego, analyzing post-mortem samples from Gulf vets, strange neurotoxins that didn't match official reports. There, in a locked drawer, he'd found the files. Army cover-ups on experimental dispersants, tested on unwitting units in the 90s. His uncle, a vet lost to friendly fire, had been one of them. Alex had sworn then to expose it, but duty called louder. This was it, the secret, the leverage. But blowing the whistle meant dragging Graves' ghosts into the light, risking everything. "Captain," Riley yelled into the comms, but Alex grabbed his arm. "Wait, I know this tech. It's ours, old stock, buried deep." Riley's eyes widened. "What the hell are you?" "No time." Alex yanked the cap free, careful not to trip the circuit, his fingers steady from years of suturing lives. He pocketed it, mind whirling. Exposed now, and the unit saves. Wait, and Graves' prejudice wins. They secured the site, the threat neutralized in the nick, but the questions burned. That night, under a sky pricked with stars, Alex faced Graves in the command tent, the detonator on the table between them like a loaded gun. "Sir, this isn't Taliban. It's Echo 7 variant, your variant, from 91 trials." Graves' face drained of color, the granite cracking. "Where'd you?" "VA archives. My uncle died from it." "You knew." The captain sank into his chair, decades sloughing off him like old skin. "It was orders. Brass wanted edge in chem war. We tested. Quietly. Harlan, my Harlan, was lead chemist. Exposure got him. Cancer, they said. But it was this poison eating him alive. Alex's anger faltered, replaced by a hollow echo of the man's pain. You covered it. Let men like him rot. Graves met his gaze, raw? And now? You're calling me out. Not if you listen. Alex leaned in, voice steel. Clear me. Fully. No more whispers. And we bury this together. Proper channels, no more ghosts. The silence stretched, broken only by the wind rattling the tent flaps. Graves nodded, slow, the weight of years in the motion. You're fit, Rivera. More than. But this. It stays between us. For the unit, Alex said. Always. Words spread like smoke. Alex back, no strings. The rumors died, replaced by nods of respect, wary at first, then genuine. Riley cornered him at chow, plate in hand, grin crooked. Heard you saved our asses again. What's the story? Alex shrugged, fork scraping tin. Just doing my job. Riley's foot nudged his under the table, casual, testing. Bull, you're the story. His voice softened, eyes warm in the lantern light. And me? What am I to you? The question hung, a precipice. Alex's heart raced, the old fears whispering retreat. But here, in the dust and danger, truth felt like armor. More than family, maybe, if you'll have it. Riley's smile broke slow, real. Been waiting for you to say it. Their hands met across the table, fingers lacing in the shadows, a promise, fragile but fierce. Outside, the mountains loomed, eternal witnesses to men remaking themselves, one secret at a time. But peace was fleeting. Weeks later, a supply run turned ambush, Humvees flipping in a ravine. Alex pulled Riley from the wreck, glass in his veins, but the sergeant was gone, pulse faint, eyes glazing. In the evac chopper, Alex whispered the words he'd held back. Love you. Damn it. As the blades whirred them toward Bagram. Riley stabilized, but the injury lingered, a cracked vertebra, months of rehab. Stateside, in the sterile halls of Walter Reed, Alex sat vigil, their hands entwined when no one watched. Graves visited once, awkward in civvies, mumbling thanks and apologies. You were right. Filed the report, quiet. Brass squirmed. Alex nodded, the victory bittersweet. For Harlan. For all of them. As spring thawed DC's cherry blossoms, Riley proposed, not with rings, but with a shared apartment key, a future sketched in quiet talks. Their love bloomed slow, roots deep in the soil of survival, unmarred by the world's old hates. Yet shadows lingered. A letter arrived, anonymous, postmarked Ohio. Kane's hiding more than divorce. Watch your back. Alex's gut twisted. Riley's ex? Or deeper, a unit grudge unearthed? Confrontation came over takeout tie, rain lashing the windows. What aren't you telling me? Alex pressed, the note crumpled between them. Riley sighed, running a hand through his hair. Ex-wife. She knows about us. Threatening custody of our son. Says I'm unfit. Same word Graves used on you. The irony stung. Alex pulled him close, the storm outside mirroring the one within. We'll fight. Together. They did. Lawyers, testimonies, Graves even testifying on Riley's valor. The judge ruled fair. The boy, little Jamie, visiting weekends, wide-eyed at his dad's easy affection. But the real twist waited in the mail again. Lab results from the VA, confirming echo, 7 traces in Riley's blood from that first blast. Not shrapnel, the chem agent, dormant, triggered by stress. Alex's secret knowledge surged back. We expose it all. No more covers. Riley nodded, fierce. For the vets. For us. Their testimony hit the hill like a grenade. Headlines screaming, forgotten poison. Army's dirty secret. Graves stood with them, redeemed, the unit rallying in letters of support. In the end, as fall painted the Potomac gold, Alex and Riley stood on the mall, Jamie between them, hands linked. Prejudices cracked, loves forged in fire. They'd saved more than a unit. They'd saved each other. The hearing room in the Rayburn House office building smelled of polished oak and stale ambition, the kind that clung to the suits of congressmen who'd never tasted desert sand. Alex adjusted his tie, the knot feeling like a noose, while Riley shifted beside him, his cane tapping a nervous rhythm on the carpet. Little Jamie fidgeted in the gallery, oblivious to the stakes, his small hand waving a toy Humvee. Congresswoman Lila Torres, a firebrand from California with Alex's old neighborhood in her district, rapped her gavel. The Subcommittee on National Security calls Dr. Alexander Rivera and Sergeant Riley Kane. Flashbulbs popped like distant gunfire as they approached the dais, oaths sworn on Bibles that felt heavier than their rucksacks. Alex's testimony flowed steady. Dates, files, the uncle's autopsy photos projected on screens for the stone-faced panel. Echo, 7 wasn't a weapon, it was a betrayal. Tested on our own, buried in red tape, while men like my uncle suffocated in silence. Riley followed, voice gravel from pain meds, detailing the blast's hidden toll. I thought it was luck I survived. Turns out it was poison, slow and sure. If Rivera hadn't seen that cap. Murmurs rippled through the room, aides scribbling furiously. Then the questions came, sharp as bayonets. Private. Sorry, doctor. How to field medic access classified VA docs. A balding rep from Texas, eyes narrowed. Alex met his gaze. Public records request, sir. Redacted, but enough cracks to see the truth. And Captain Graves? He's corroborating, but sources say he authorized the trials. The accusation hung, baited. Captain Graves lost everything to that poison, Alex countered, voice even. He's testifying for redemption, not evasion. The room tensed, but Torres steered it back, her gavel a lifeline. By adjournment, the air buzzed, reporters swarming, promises of investigations whispered in sidebars. Outside, under a sky bruised purple, Riley pulled Alex into a hug. Kane forgotten. You were a force in there. We were. Alex kissed his temple, quick but deep, ignoring the stares. Jamie toddled up, demanding a piggyback, and the world righted. But victory soured fast. That night, their apartment door splintered under a booted kick, 2 men in black bursting in, masks, gloves, the acrid whiff of intent. Alex dove for Jamie's room, scooping the boy as Riley swung his cane like a club, cracking one intruder's knee. Get out, Riley roared, but a fist connected, sending him sprawling. Alex barricaded the door, phone to ear, dialing 911, heart pounding as thuds shook the frame. Sirens wailed minutes later, MPD flooding the hall. The intruders fled empty-handed, but the message lingered. Someone wanted silence. DC Metro's detective, a burly guy named Kowalski with a mustache like a broom, paced their living room, shattered lamp at his feet. Enemies in the ranks? Brass pissed about the hearing. Riley iced his jaw, Jamie curled in Alex's lap. Or Riley's ex. She's got ties, family in military contracting. Kowalski grunted. We'll pull CCTV. But watch your 6. Sleep evaded them that night, bodies tangled in vigilance. Dawn brought Graves at the door, face ashen. Heard about the break-in. My fault. Pushed too hard on the testimony. Alex waved him in, brewing coffee strong as boot polish. We're in it now. Who'd send goons? Graves sank onto the couch, elbows on knees. Old guard. Echo, 7 had backers. Defense firms still peddling variants under new names. Your hearing poked the bear. Riley's eyes hardened. Then we hit harder. Full press, media leaks. But Alex saw the fear in Jamie's wide eyes, the boys' questions about bad men. This war had followed them home, threatening the fragile peace they'd built. The next week blurred in a frenzy. Protective details shadowing their steps, lawyers fortifying custody, Alex back at the VA clinic patching vets while dodging calls from reporters. Riley started PT in earnest, his limp fading as determination burned brighter. One evening, post-therapy, they walked the mall, Jamie chasing pigeons. Remember our first leave in Bagram? Riley asked, voice soft. Shared that MRE under the stars. You talked about LA sunsets. Alex smiled, memory sweet. You confessed the divorce, said it felt like shedding skin. Riley stopped, turning to face him, the Washington Monument a silent sentinel. Shedding for this. For us. His kiss was fierce, unapologetic, drawing whistles from joggers. In that moment, the threats faded, love a bulwark. But the anonymous letters escalated, postmarks shifting from Ohio to Virginia, home of the Pentagon. Stop digging, or the boy pays. Alex's blood ran cold. He burned them, but the poison seeped. It climaxed at Jamie's preschool pickup. Alex arrived early, scanning the lot, when a van screeched up, doors flying. He lunged, tackling a masked figure lunging for the playground gate, fists flying in a blur of rage. "Not my son!" Bystanders screamed, teachers herding kids inside. The assailant broke free, vanishing into traffic, but not before Alex glimpsed a tattoo: eagle, globe, and anchor. Marines. Echo 7's enforcers. Police swarmed, but evidence was thin. Back home, Riley paced, fury etched deep. "We go public. Names, dates. Force their hand." Alex nodded, but doubt gnawed. "And if it backfires?" "Jamie. Jamie needs heroes, not ghosts." Riley cupped his face, thumbs tracing jaw. "Like his dad's." The leak hit the Post at midnight. Army cover-up. Toxic legacy threatens vets. Sourced anonymously. Graves, Alex suspected. The piece named firms, officers, the web of complicity. Pandemonium erupted. Protests at the gates, senators scrambling, Riley's ex recanting under media glare, custody secured. But the backlash bit. Death threats, slashed tires. Alex's clinic vandalized with slurs, ferry trader. Through it, their bond deepened. Nights spent mapping strategies over wine. Jamie's laughter a reminder of stakes. "You're my anchor," Alex whispered one dawn, tracing Riley's scars. "You're my light," Riley replied, pulling him close. The turning point came in a dingy motel on the Beltway, Kowalski's Tip, a meet between contractors. Alex and Riley staked out, hearts hammering, when the deal soured, shots ringing, figures scattering. They moved in shadows, phones recording frantic exchanges. Echo, 7 redux. Untraceable, double the yield. Jackpot. Handed to Torres, it cracked the case wide, indictments raining down. In the aftermath, as headlines faded, Alex and Riley stood on their balcony, Jamie asleep inside. The city hummed below, alive with possibility. "We did it," Alex breathed. Riley's arm around him, solid. Together. But one last shadow, a call from Graves. "It's over." But Harlan. He'd be proud. Alex hung up, tears pricking. Proud. Of the medic who'd exposed the beast, the love that tamed it. Their story became legend in vet circles, a testament to resilience. And in quiet moments, hands clasped, they knew, from duty's fire, they'd forged something eternal. Months after the indictments, the air in their Alexandria row house carried the scent of fresh paint and possibility, the vandalism scars erased under layers of cream white. Alex stood in the kitchen, stirring oatmeal for Jamie's breakfast, while Riley clipped articles to a corkboard, triumphs in ink, from heroes unmasked to love on the line, a sergeant's redemption. "Daddy, why's Uncle Riley got a stick?" Jamie asked, pointing at the cane propped by the door, his 4-year-old curiosity blunt as a bayonet. Riley chuckled, ruffling the boy's curls. "Helps me chase dragons, kiddo. Like in your stories." Jamie beamed, dragon slay chomps echoing as he scampered off. Alex watched them, chest tight with a gratitude that bordered ache. This, normalcy, hard won, was the real victory. But normalcy had edges. Alex's promotion to VA lead researcher came with scrutiny, colleagues whispering about the whistleblower, while Riley's discharge papers loomed, honorable but final. What next? He'd ask nights, when Jamie slept and the world pressed close. Together, Alex always said, the mantra their shield. It held until the letter from Ohio, innocuous envelope hiding venom. Riley's ex, Carla, suing for full custody, citing immoral influences and endangering environment from the break-ins. Attached affidavits from concerned family, painting Riley as unstable, Alex as the villainous outsider. Rage boiled slow in Alex's gut as they pored over it at the dining table, legal pads scribbling counters. "She's twisting the threats, making it our fault," Riley growled, crumpling a page. Alex's hand covered his, steady. "We'll fight clean. Torres owes us. She'll connect us to a shark." The lawyer, Marcus Hale, was a silver fox in pinstripes, ex-jag with a drawl that disarmed. Over coffee in his Georgetown office, he dissected the case like a field dressing. "Carla's got money, family firm, defense ties. But your story? It's gold." Public sympathy's on you post-hearing. Sympathy won't sway a judge, Riley muttered. Hill's eyes twinkled. Nah, but evidence will. We'll subpoena her comms. Bet there's overlap with those contractors. Discovery unearthed dirt. Carla's brother, a mid-level exec at one indicted firm, funneling funds her way. The judge, a stern woman from Akron, saw through it, awarding joint custody with Riley primary. Alex's role affirmed in footnotes. Carla's appeal died in chambers, her glare across the courtroom a final spark. You stole him, she hissed post-ruling. Riley's voice was ice. I chose. Driving home, Jamie chattering about ice cream, the weight lifted. At the shop, cones dripping, Riley leaned in. Family. Real one. Alex's kiss tasted of vanilla and vindication. Yet the past clawed back. A vet from Bravo Company, PFC Ellis, the kid Alex had saved in the ravine, showed up unannounced, gaunt and twitching. Echo, 7 symptoms blooming late. Heard you're the expert. Document help? Alex cleared his couch for the night, running tests in his makeshift home lab. Riley brewing tea strong as resolve. Ellis's story spilled. Buried exposures, nightmares of melting flesh. The VA's denial letters piling like unanswered prayers. It's systemic, Alex told Riley later, Ellis snoring in the guest room. One hearing doesn't fix decades. Riley's jaw set. Then we build on it. Advocacy group, Vets for You. The idea ignited, christened Echo Survivors, over late-night brainstorms. Graves signed on, his testimony a cornerstone, while Torres pushed funding. Meetings in church basements swelled to hundreds, stories shared like ammunition. But cracks formed. Ellis relapsed, ODing on painkillers, his suicide note blaming the ghosts. Guilt gnawed Alex, dreams haunted by the kid's vacant eyes. You can't save everyone, Riley soothed, holding him through tremors. But you're saving the rest. Their first big win, a class action suit, settlements trickling to families. Media dubbed them the poison pair, profiles gushing over their unbreakable bond. Fame's glare brought stalkers, a woman from Riley's past, jilted before Carla, letters veering obsessive. You were mine first. That fag stole you. Alex found the notes, hands shaking. Police. Riley nodded, but his eyes shadowed, stirring old pots. The stalker escalated, slashed tires escalating to a brick through the window, mine scrawled in red. MPD upped patrols, but fear seeped in, Jamie's questions turning tearful. Why's the bad lady mad? To protect what's hers, Alex explained, hating the lie. But we're stronger. Climax hit at a support rally in Rock Creek Park, banners waving under oaks. Alex keynote, voice carrying. We didn't ask for this war, the one inside. But we'll win it, hand in hand. Applause thundered, but as he stepped down, a figure lunged from the crowd. The woman, wild-eyed, knife glinting. Riley body-blocked, the blade grazing his arm, blood blooming. Chaos erupted, security tackling her, screams piercing the air. Alex dropped beside Riley, kid out, staunching the flow. Idiot. What? Riley winced, grinning through pain. Habit. Saving you. ER stitches later, bandaged and buzzed on local news, they laughed it off. Trauma bonding. Deeper now. The stalker pled guilty, therapy mandated. Her rage unpacked in court as Echo widows grief. Riley a symbol of loss. Healing came slow, therapy sessions for all three, family constellations redrawn. Jamie drew pictures of super dads, capes and all. As winter blanketed the city, Alex proposed under the same mall trees, ring simple platinum. Forever duty? Riley's yes was a vow, sealed in snowflakes. Their wedding was small, vets in pews, Graves' best man, Torres toasting. Vows echoed unit oaths. In peace and fire, I choose you. Honeymoon in L.A., Alex's roots reclaimed, beach walks, family mending. Back home, Echo survivors thrived, policy shifting. One night, porch swing creaking, Jamie Abed, Riley mused. Think we scared him enough? Alex laced fingers. Scared ourselves into this. Worth it. Stars wheeled above, witnesses to love's quiet triumph. Spring unfurled in Alexandria like a hesitant truce, dogwoods blushing pink against the Potomac's steady flow. Alex's days blurred between VA shifts and Echo Survivors board calls, his nights anchored in Riley's arms, the rhythm of their life a hard-earned cadence. Jamie thrived in kindergarten, finger paints of battles won, oblivious to the undercurrents that still tugged at his father's peace. It started with a phone call from Bagram, Captain Graves, voice crackling over sat lines, urgency laced with gravel. Rivera, Kane, need you back. Not official. Off books. Riley's brow furrowed as Alex hit speaker. Sir, we're civilians now. What's the play? Silence hissed, then, new variant. Echo 9. Intel says it's in the field, our field. Testing on hostiles, but blowbacks hitting our boys. Symptoms match, seizures, blackouts. Brass is circling wagons again. Alex's stomach nodded, old ghosts stirring. Why us? You're the insider. Graves' laugh was bitter. I'm retired, remember? You two are the faces, the heroes. Plus, that secret of yours? Still leverage. The one Alex had buried post-hearing. His uncle's full files, digitized on a thumb drive hidden in their safe. Proof of chain-of-command sign-offs. Graves' signature faded but legible. We'll come, Riley said, decisive, squeezing Alex's knee. But Jamie. Family leave, Alex added. And protection. They flew commercial to Kabul, economy seats a far cry from Black Hawks, landing in a city pulsing with guarded energy. Graves met them at a safe house in the Wazir Akbar Khan district, his frame thinner, eyes haunted by fresh failures. Over chai and naan, maps unrolled, hot zones marked in red, incident reports stacking like accusations. First cases last month, Graves explained, finger tracing the Panjshir Valley. Locals convulsing, our patrols catching drift. Denials from up top, but I smell the same rot. Riley scanned the docks, jaw tight. Who's greenlighting? Same firms. Worse. Private contractors, Blackwater echoes, but slicker. You're hearing scared M off government, pushed underground. Alex's mind raced, connecting dots to VA spikes in neuro cases. We need samples. Blood, soil, irrefutable. Graves nodded. Insertion via NGO cover. Med mission to a village hit hard. The plan coalesced. Alex as doc, Riley security consult, Graves logistics. Dawn saw them rolling out in a dusty Land Cruiser. Afghan sun baking the windshield, armed escorts in turbans and tack vests. The village clung to a hillside like a scar, mud huts clustered around a dry well. Children peeked from doorways, flies buzzing their coal-rimmed eyes. Alex set up clinic under a tarp, stethoscope cold against fevered skin, while Riley patrolled the perimeter, his limp a faint echo. First patient, an elder, limbs jerking in phantom dances, foam flecking his beard. Gin curse, his wife whispered, but Alex's swab confirmed. Organophosphate traces, echo signature. Samples secured. He murmured into his recorder, vials clinking in his pack. Riley's radio crackled mid-afternoon. Contact. Perimeter breach, Taliban sniffers. Gunfire stitched the air, sharp and close. Alex herded patients inside, heart slamming, as Riley barked coordinates. Graves' voice cut in. Exfil now. It's a setup. The trap sprung. Contractors, not Taliban. Shadows in Western gear melting from rocks, suppressing fire pinning them. Bullets chipped stone, a local screaming as he fell. Riley dragged Alex behind a wall, rifle scavenged from an escort. Cover me. I'm flanking. No, but Riley was gone, ghosting through alleys, his shot dropping one assailant clean. Alex fired back, untrained hands steady from will, buying time. The Land Cruiser roared up, Graves gunning it, door yanking open. In. They piled in, tires spinning gravel, the village shrinking in the rear view amid smoke. A contractor's round shattered the back glass, grazing Riley's shoulder. Old wound reopening, blood soaking camo. Back at safe house, Alex stitched by lantern, needle-piercing flesh. Reckless bastard. Riley winced, smirking. Saved your samples. Graves burst in, face thunder. Intel was leaked. Someone in our chain. Paranoia bloomed. Who? A mole in Echo Survivors? Or closer, Graves himself, redemption a ruse? Trust frayed over the next days, hold up decoding vials in a makeshift lab. Results screamed truth. Echo, 9. Weaponized. Dispersal via drones misfired over civvy zones. We go public, Alex insisted, uploading data to encrypted servers. Torres, media, flooded. But Riley hesitated, eyes on the window's shadows. And the mole? They'll hit Jamie. The call came then. DC number, Jamie's school. Incident. Boys fine, but questions. Alex's blood iced. Exfil home. Now. Evac was a nightmare. Black market flight to Istanbul. Then commercial to Dulles, nerves raw. Landing, they raced to the school, finding Jamie safe. But a concerned parent, interview recorded, Carla's ally, probing for dirt. Home felt like a sieve, locks changed, alarms primed. Echo survivors met virtually, vote unanimous, expose. The drop hit Walpo and CNN at prime time. Afghan poison. U.S. contractors revive banned toxin. Footage of the village, Alex's narration voiceover. This ends now. Fallout was biblical. Pentagon scrambling. Contractors dissolving overnight. Congressional probes launching. Graves vanished. A note. Took the heat. Harlan's peace. But the mole surfaced in cuffs. Ellis's old squad mate. Bought off. Confessions spilling in interrogation. Riley's shoulder healed crooked. A badge. Worth it. Alex pulled him close. Jamie giggling between. Every scar. Summer brought trials. Testimonies echoing their first hearing. Victories stacked. Bans reinstated. Reparations flowing. One evening, backyard barbecue with unit vets. Laughter ringing. Alex raised a glass. To secrets exposed. Riley's toast. And love's unbroken. Fireflies danced. A new chapter flickering alive. Autumn leaves carpeted the streets of Alexandria like spent casings, crunching under Alex and Riley's boots as they walked Jamie to the park. The boys' chatter filled the air, school plays, dragon drawings. A balm against the undercurrent of exhaustion that lingered from Kabul. Echo 9's exposure had bought them headlines and hearings, but the grind of follow-through wore grooves deep. Depositions, donor calls, the endless scroll of victim emails. At the swings, Jamie pumped legs skyward, shrieking joy. Riley pushed, his good arm steady. The scarred one a subtle hitch. Think he'll remember this, the normal? Alex leaned on the fence, watching. He'll remember us fighting for it. Their eyes met, a current humming. Love, tempered now, resilient as rebar. But normal fractured that weekend. A courier at their door with sealed briefs. Class action addendum. Afghan survivors suing, naming Alex as expert witness. Travel again? Riley asked, flipping pages. Kabul. Depots. 2 weeks. Riley's jaw tightened. Not jealousy, but the echo of abandonment fears. Jamie's got soccer. I'll hold. Guilt twisted. We could. No. Go. Finish it. His kiss was firm, sealing resolve. Kabul welcomed them with monsoon rains, streets rivers of mud. Alex bunked at the NGO compound, testifying via video to stone-faced lawyers, samples under microscope confirming horrors. Dispersal patterns match contractor logs, he detailed, voice steady. Civilians hit hardest. Off camera, doubts crept. Was exposure enough? Or just stirring hornets anew? Nights, he called home, Riley's voice a lifeline. Jamie's asking for dragon stories. Tell one. Alex spun tales of medic nights and sergeant shields, laughter bridging oceans. But one call cut short, static, then Riley's urgency. Intruders again. Cops en route. We're good. Alex's flight home was a blur of what-ifs, landing to a fortified house, windows boarded. Riley downplayed it, bruise purpling his cheek. Just kids, thrill-seekers, hopped up on your fame. But Alex saw the lie in his averted eyes. Talk. Riley sighed, sinking to the couch. Not kids. Hired muscle, contractor holdouts. Warning shot. Fury surged. We end this. Full court. FBI, not local. The feds moved fast, wiretaps yielding chatter. Remnants plotting sabotage, targeting Echo survivors Gala and DC. Alex and Riley coordinated from war rooms. Graves ghost advising via burner phone. Flush 'em out. Use the event as bait. Gala night glittered at the Kennedy Center, chandeliers dripping light over tuxed vets and power suits. Alex in tailored black, Riley's arm linked proud despite the cane. Jamie stayed with Torres, safe in senator's luxury. Speeches soared. Torres on policy wins. Alex on human cost. Then, as applause crested, alarms wailed. Smoke in the wings, panic rippling. Riley tensed. Now, they moved as one, ushering guests to exits. Alex spotting the figures. 3 men, canisters in hand. Gas variant, Echolite. Stop, Alex yelled, but Riley charged, tackling the lead, cane clattering. Fists flew, grunts echoing marble halls. Alex grabbed an extinguisher, blasting foam, subduing another as security swarmed. The third bolted, but feds netted him in the alley, canisters seized, duds, but intent lethal. Cuffed and broken, the plotters sang. Ringleader a firm exec, grudge deep from indictments. You ruined us, he spat at Alex in holding. Saved lives? Alex countered. Yours included once. Trials followed, swift and damning, sentences stacking. Echo survivors swelled, chapters in every state, Riley chairing with quiet command. But the scare unearthed fractures. Post-gala, over whiskey in their study, Riley confessed, seeing you in danger. It guts me, like losing you in that ravine. Alex's throat tightened. Thought I lost you tonight. They talked till dawn. Fears, futures, therapy's toolkit rebuilding trust. We're not invincible, Riley admitted. But unbreakable, Alex finished. Winter holidays healed, Jamie's wonder at lights, and trees a reset. Family swelled. Graves for Christmas, frail but fierce, gifting old photos. Harlan smiling, young Graves adoring. To second chances, he toasted, glass trembling. New year brought change. Alex's book deal, Shadows of Duty, Riley co-authoring chapters on brotherhood turned love. Launch in spring, signings packed, stories shared in Q&As. One reader, a young vet, trans, wide-eyed, approached post-event. Your story. It gives me hope. Coming out in uniform. Riley knelt to her level. It gets better. Fight smart, love fierce. She hugged him, tears bright. Home. Jamie asleep. Alex traced Riley's lines. We're mentors now. Riley grinned. Scarier than Taliban. Summer solstice. They renewed vows lakeside. Jamie ring bearer. Vets witnessing. In all weathers, they pledged. Echoes faded, but lessons lingered. Love not despite scars, but through them. The book tour carved a path across America like a victory lap, from LA sunsets to Boston blizzards. Alex and Riley tag-teaming readings, Jamie in tow with his backpack of crayons. Shadows of Duty climbed charts, not for glamour but grit, the raw prose of blasts and betrayals, the tender arcs of hidden hearts unfurling. Fans lined up, vets and allies, sharing their own silences broken. In Chicago, midway through, a signing turned tense. A heckler in the crowd, burly vet with a buzz cut and grudge. Traitors, you outed good men for glory. Riley rose, calm as a briefing. We outed lies, brother. For all of us. Murmurs shifted, the man slinking away, but the encounter lingered, a reminder, not all battles won. Home in July's heat, bills piled, legal fees from the sabotage, PT copays, the quiet drain of advocacy. Alex eyed the safe, thumb drive still nestled, a nuclear option untapped. Use it? He asked Riley one evening, grill smoking with burgers. Riley flipped patties, thoughtful. Last resort. We're building, not burning. But fate forced hands. August brought a subpoena, not for them, but against, a congressional probe into Echo funding, whispers of embezzlement tainting survivors. Graves called, frantic. It's a smear. Brass cronies, discrediting us. Audits cleared them, but damage stuck, donors wavering, chapters fracturing. Riley poured nights into salvaging, his limp returning under stress. Alex watched him unravel, the man who'd charged contractors now doubting steps. We need a win, Riley muttered, staring at ledgers. It came unexpected, a tip from an old Bravo contact, now CIA desk jockey. Loose end, Echo, 10 prototype, warehoused in Nevada. Black site. Adrenaline surged, old rhythms kicking in. We rate it. Expose. Riley's eyes lit. Legally. FOIA, then media. They filed, lawyers grinding bureaucracy, But leaks primed the pump. Anonymous drops to outlets, schematics surfacing. The bust hit national news. FBI storming the site, crates of vials glowing under lights. Thanks to whistleblowers. The anchor intoned. Alex and Riley's faces pixelated but unmistakable. Survivors rebounded, funds flowing anew, unity forged in the fire. Fall deepened bonds. Jamie's school play, him as a dragon-slaying knight, drew tears, Riley whispering, "That's our boy." Post-show dinner, family table laughing, Alex felt it, completion. But Winter whispered tests. Riley's echo traces flared, phantom pains, tests showing build-up. Manageable, Doc said, but Alex's researcher brain screamed research. He dove in, lab time ballooning, grants chasing cures. Nights, Riley waited, understanding but aching. Don't lose us in the fight. Alex surfaced, recommitting, date nights, park picnics, love's deliberate nurture. Spring bloomed revelation. Clinical trial greenlit. Alex lead on antidote protocol. First subjects, Riley among them, showed promise, pains easing. Miracle worker, Riley teased, post-infusion glow real. Your warrior, Alex countered. Gala for the trial's launch, black ties and hope, Torres keynoting. From poison to panacea, their legacy. Dancing under stars, Jamie with a sitter, Riley pulled Alex close. Proud. Every day. Walt's steps synced, scars invisible. Years folded forward. Jamie teen now, out as by the supportive dads, dating his first crush at prom. Echo survivors global, chapters in Kabul clinics. Graves passed quietly, Harlan's photos at his bedside, while leaving funds, for the loves that endure. At the funeral, Riley spoke. He taught us duty's true face, compassion. Alex nodded, hand in his. On their anniversary, lakeside again, Jamie officiating with teen gravity. You guys, goals, vows renewed, through all fronts. Sunset, gilded water, family whole. In quiet afters, Alex reflected, from a captain's dismissal to this. Units saved, hearts mended. The secret? Not the files, but the love that exposed it. And in Riley's arms, under endless sky, he knew, duty fulfilled, forever forward.